Ito, partner. Puntahan natin yung next aspect nito. Saan ba naka-invest si Marvin Germo sa YouTube? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening kung nasan man kayong panig ng mundo. Kayo po yung nakatune in dito po sa Kaasenso with Gerard and Mitch. Ako po si Gerard de la Peña.
Ako po si Michelle Orosa-Ople and of course, ito ay diskusyon, kwento, lahat ng ika-aasenso, ikagaganda at ika-uunlad ng ating mga buhay.
At higit sa lahat, ikatataba ng ating brain cells. Partner, ngayong episode nito, ito personally napaka-interesting nito sa akin kasi ang dami kong naririnig na sila raw ay kumikita sa global stocks, particularly US stocks. Ito para mas mag-grasp ng ating mga listeners at viewers kung magkano ba ang kitaan dito. Merong isang app, pagka ikaw ay nag-invest doon sa piling stock, syempre iba't iba naman yan, depende sa diskarte mo rin bilang investor. Minsan may kumikita $8 a week, minsan $20 a week.
Oh.
So bahala na kayo mag-compute kung magkano man yun. That's less than 1,000 maybe. Less than 1,000 pesos, mga ganyan. Pero ang bottom line nito, kumikita siya.
Yes.
So, bakit at paano ba kumikita dyan? Kausapin natin ang isa sa ating suki, partner.
Oo. If ever, bago natin siya introduce, if ever naisip nyo, gusto nyo mag-invest sa Facebook, Amazon, Google, Microsoft, ayan, pakinggan natin kung paano mula sa ating idol na Kaasenso, Marvin Germo.
Welcome back, Marvin Germo, sa Kaasenso with Gerard. Na-mix ka namin.
Grabe, it's an honor to be here. Kasi dati naalala ko nung, I think it was one of your first episodes, hindi ba kayo monetize? Ngayon, monetize na kayo. So, it's an honor. Congratulations.
Parang lalong sumipa yung page views namin.
Oo nga, ito, kaya kailangan ibalik si Idol. We're celebrating this milestone with a great interview, diba?
Ayan. Ito Marvin, ito kasi recently, ang dami kong naririnig from various investors, both beginners at saka yung mga bihasana. Nasabi nila may oportunidad raw sa US or European stocks. Sabihin na lang natin global stocks compared sa Philippine stocks recently. So unang-una muna, ang tatanong ko muna sa'yo, bakit nangyari to? Paano mas may opportunity doon ngayon kesa dito sa atin sa Philippine stocks?
Okay, good question. I'll quantify that lang, no? Yung opportunity kasi meron pa rin sa Philippines, meron sa US, hindi nawawala yung opportunity. So when people are saying that nasa States lang yung opportunity, hindi naman kasi there will always be ways on how you can also position sa Philippine markets. That being said, I think it's talked about more now because access to it is easier. Pero the opportunity to invest in global stocks has been there. Ako, I've been doing it for so many years already. Pero dati kasi sobrang hirap . It's not as easy as what's happening now. So access has been easier, kaya mas pinag-uusapan siya. And totoo naman when you are investing in global markets versus the Philippines, let's put it in the context of COVID. Ngayon, sa Philippines, punta ka sa Philippine Stock Exchange, majority ng mga companies na listed doon, traditional. Meaning, sila yung natamaan mall, property developer, bangko, lesser loans that's happening now. Whereas, punta ka sa States, punta ka sa global stocks, madami doon, they're in the cutting edge of innovation. They have companies that kahit in the midst of the pandemic, they were not just surviving, but they were thriving. And some of them even accelerated and pushed forward. And madami ka makikita na companies doon that 10, 20 years from now, they will be one of the biggest companies in the world because of what they're actually doing. And the reason why it's very, very interesting is, think about it. I mentioned the Philippines banks. I mentioned property development companies. Doon, you can invest in companies that are into solar, into wind, into electronic vehicles, artificial intelligence, fintech, name everything that will happen in the next 5 to 10 years, nandun lahat ng companies na yun. Kaya siya exciting. That's one. Number two is, for me, it's more predictable. Dati nung nasa TV5, yung show, I would always talk about Ayala Corp, Jollibee, buy the ones that are household names na alam mo 10 years from now, andun pa rin. In the same way, Disney, McDonald's, Starbucks, yung paborito ni Carlo, Nike. Di ba? Think about that. Those are brands that are 10 times bigger than the ones that we have here in the Philippines. That kung may confidence tayo in some of the brands in the Philippines, you multiply that by a large number, yun yung mga multinational companies na doon, from J&J, Procter & Gamble, Unilever. So it's more predictable because I already know that it will take something very, very hard to beat Starbucks. It will take something very, very hard to beat Nike, to beat this Disney. Kaya siya exciting.
So aside from predictable, more stable din yung mga companies na present in the global game.
Yeah, and their market, parang think about it. How do you beat Nike? Who can beat Nike? Who can beat Starbucks? Starbucks doesn't even have, para sa akin, the best coffee in the world, pero they're the best business na coffee in the world also. The way they have done it. So how do you beat companies like that? Or even yung mga nakikita natin sa groceries, sa Pure Gold, sa SM, na mga toothpaste, toothbrush, shampoo, dun lahat galing yun eh. So unless tumigil tayo lahat na mag-shampoo, na ginagamit natin the same brands that we have been using since bata tayo, how can you stop that? How can you stop Coke? Ang laki na ng movement na masama yung Coke sa katawan, pero people are still drinking Coke.
So is that the reason kung bakit as of now, ito for transparency's sake, July ngayon, medyo umaarangkada ang US stocks, tapos ang Philippine stocks medyo lang tayo ganyan. So ano ang dahilan kung bakit mas nagpe-perform ngayon ang US stocks?
Just to compare, no, yung Philippine stocks actually we've been moving up din naman as compared to nung start ng taon. Halos nag 7,000 tayo by the time that we're recording this. Yung difference lang siguro is yung US markets, they're pushing all-time highs. Madami sa mga large tech companies also have been pushing higher, and cycles. Madami talagang pera na lumalabas sa America. The more they keep printing money, there has to be a place kung saan yun pupunta. I think yung issue ngayon nila sa States ngayon is that yung presyo kung gaano siya kataas, is it reasonable pa ba given that sobrang laki ng inakyat niya, pero money has to go somewhere eh. And yung cryptocurrency market down ngayon eh. So where is it going? And the numbers are showing that it's in the stock market right now. Pero what people need to realize is cycles, and dadating din yung point that it will correct. Ganun din sa Philippines, dadating din yung point that yung pag-akyat ngayon currently sa Philippines, bababa din yun. And ganun din sa cryptocurrency market, dadating din yung point that mataas siya nung start of the year up until May, tapos ngayon mababa siya, dadating din yung point na it's gonna reverse back up again. So it's just a trail of where the money's going.
And I think out of this recording din, paakyat yung economy ng US, and even as a lot of economies globally recover from this pandemic, makikita mo talaga yun reflected in the global markets.
And ano siya, I think because people are going out more. Obviously, I'm a big fan of the NBA. Yung NBA finals last year, walang audience. Ngayon, you watch every NBA game, punong pack na yung stadium. So imagine yung multiplier effect nun, yung travel, yung kain, yung tao na nagkaroon ng trabaho, yung hotel bookings, yung media mileage, yung commercials, etc. So that creates a ripple effect dun sa economy nila. And that's just the NBA alone.
Sabihin ko nga ibang market pa yung cards ng NBA. Next topic.
pero yun, think about that's mass gathering. So think about yung effect nun sa Disneyland. Think about yung effect nun sa mga concerts na gagawin na nila ulit. Think about all of the church gatherings, malaki na ulit sila. So alam mo yun, pag nag-church yun, 10,000 ka sa church, kakain kayo ng lunch sa labas eh. So imagine the effect of that in the economy na dati wala lahat yun. So
grabe, partner. And ito si Idol Marvin, naalala ko back in the studios pa ng TV5, pinag-uusapan natin. Paano pa papasok dito? Tapos
yes,
hindi siya ganun kadali dati. So what's the difference now? I mean, how come ngayon parang ang dami ng may access to this global markets?
That's a good question. Di ko alam kung bakit. Siguro a lot of those global companies saw that there's so much opportunity in Southeast Asia, that there's so much opportunities in Asia. What makes it interesting is that yung unang-unang kong broker, sobrang taas ng charges. Minimum charge kagad noon was around, for us, regardless of how small your trade is, kahit mag-trade ka ng $1, $20 agad yung charge. Tapos kung hindi ka mag-trade for a certain time, they will charge you. And then if you buy a US stock, they will charge you pa custodian holdings kasi hinawakan nila yung stocks mo. Yung mga bago ngayon, wala lahat yun. And what's very interesting is you can buy fractional shares, meaning kung yung price ng Facebook is $350 to be able to buy it, you can buy a small fraction of it. Hindi mo kailangan maglabas ng 350, which is around 17,000 pesos. So I think that's what makes it interesting, na hindi mo kailangan bilhin yung buong amount. Isipin mo, bibili mo yung Berkshire Hathaway, masyadong malaki yun. Bibilin mo yung Amazon, Google, na nasa thousands yung in US dollars yung prices nila. What makes it so interesting is, yun, small amounts of money, pwede ka pumasok.
Okay.
May board lot din ba sila? Yung minimum number of shares so you can come in?
Wala na. It's even cheaper to buy US stocks than Philippine stocks right now.
Okay.
Kasi di ba yung usapan natin sa Kaasenso dati, less than 5,000 may mabibili ka. As in, literal ngayon, $50, $1 pwede ka magpasok. So 50 pesos. Mas mahal pa yung milk tea na iniinom ng mga tao kaysa sa pagbili ng US stock.
Pwede pala yun.
Ang galing.
Teka muna, before we press onto that, sige. Ako wala pa akong account and I want to open an account. Anong gagawin ko? Saan ako pupunta at ano yung kailangan kong i-prepare?
Standard to across the board. So they will always ask for your generic ID. ID na meron nationality mo na to prove na Pilipino ka talaga.
Oh.
And then prove kung yung ID na yun walang address, kasi driver's license may address eh. Kunyari you use your passport, they will ask for proof of billing. So depende kung anong platform yung gagamitin nila. Pero very, very easy. They just search how to trade US stocks. Ang dami maglalabasan yung mga apps na yon. Tapos most of the time naman yung lumalabas, they're all legitimate. They're all legitimate naman. What they can look at is WeBull, EToro, GoTrade, Beanstalk. So they can try those four. Doon sa mga nanonood dito tapos they're not from the Philippines, they can also try Robinhood as well. So those are some companies that they can look at.
Mm-hmm.
We'll put some of those links down below sa comment section so you can check out or you can start yung mga global stocks ninyo. So do you trade on all of these platforms or
with the exception of Robinhood, kasi Robinhood pang US lang talaga siya, but majority of the ones that I mentioned accessible sa atin lahat, and then I have their apps as well.
Okay. Ito pangalawang tanong ng mga interesado, magkano raw initially yung kailangan mong ilabas? Kasi di ba kung mag-invest ka sa stock exchange, meron kang 5,000 pesos, okay na yun, pwede ka na mag-start. Dito sa US stocks, for instance, magkano ang initial na kailangan ilabas?
Literal, $1 yung lowest. May mga $50. Totoo.
Oh!
Fractional shares nga talaga eh. When I said mas mahal pa milk tea, totoo yun. You can buy stocks for 50 pesos. You can buy stocks for 50 pesos also. So it's cheaper now. That's why I think ito pa. Majority of what I mentioned, commission free.
Okay.
So pag mag-trade ka ng Philippine stocks, you're paying commission. Yun, commission free sila lahat. So you can trade all you want. Wala kang binabayaran na commission doon.
Question, just to put it into context, 5 years ago, was this the case? Na you can
Wala pa.
global stocks at $1?
Wala pa. This was made, pinasikat to ng Robinhood sa States. And then, yung whole concept of fractional shares, mga siguro, first na na-encounter ko, 2019. Pero alam ko, I wasn't the first to sa fraction. I think it was prior to that pa. Pero, yun, recent lang to. This is something that's very, very recent lang. Dati you couldn't buy that amount, that small amount also.
Right.
So that I think that's why mas sinabi ni Gerard na mas uso siya ngayon kasi unang-una pag may phone ka, pwede ka na magkaroon ng access eh. Tapos pangalawa, hindi mo kailangan ng malaking pera para subukan siya. So, yun.
And then, if I remember correctly, nasa baka 100,000 dati eh. Or malaki yung kailangan mong capital to even consider.
Parang at least 5 digits, no, dati, partner.
Basta nandun eh. Wala nga siya sa 10 eh, if I remember correctly. Tama ba, Marvin? Basta alam ko ito, like, you needed a huge chunk.
Medyo malaki siya dati.
Tsaka hindi lang yung huge chunk eh, because you have to buy yung exact, so for example, you want to buy Amazon. So exact price of Amazon as of this point in time is $3,696.
Ooh.
So isipin mo yun. Kahit anong minimum ilagay mo, if the stock price is $3,696, para makabili ng isang stock, you need around close to 200,000 pesos already.
Oh my goodness.
So I think yun yung restrictive dun eh. Kahit maglagay ka ng kahit anong minimum, yung stock pa lang ni Warren Buffett, which is millions pag kinonvert mo into pesos, above north of 10 million pesos, you would have to pay a very, very large amount of money para lang makabili. Pero ngayon, fractional shares, you don't have to buy the whole one share. You can just buy a piece of that share.
Right.
Ito katulad nito, Marvin, I'm looking at the stock price of Facebook. $350.49 US dollars. So, sabihin, ito pwede akong bumili ng $1 lang.
Pwede ka bumili ng fraction of that regardless of yung platform na gamitin mo. So, gusto mo magpasok ng $50, gusto mo magpasok ng $1, yung $1 mo, di-divide nila. So, kung 350 yung Facebook, you will probably get 0.33 shares ng Facebook. Parang ganun.
Yes.
So kung gusto mo mag-invest sa Facebook o sa murang halaga, pwede na. Part owner ka na.
Fraction of the stock. Pero teka muna, speaking of dollars, paano ba to? Kailangan namin maglabas ng dollar o pag nag-apply kami dito sa mga app na to, may auto-conversion na yung ibabayad ng peso, dollar na, gano'n.
Kino-convert siya. Normally, yung easiest way to kaya rin siya madali for a lot of people is you can use a credit card or debit card eh. Tapos I think doon din kumikita yung mga platforms din kasi yung exchanges noon may differences na yun eh. So you don't have to open a dollar account, kaya sobrang dali siya because you can use your peso account to convert it. You can use your peso account to convert it into dollar, and then yun, it becomes dollars already, less whatever charges, then less whatever margins na meron sila. Tapos yun din, pag winidraw mo, may designated account ka, babalik din sa peso account mo also. I think for some, you can designate a dollar account, pero kung wala kayong dollar account, I think pwede siya ilagay sa peso. Pero as always, may mga charges also rin yun, and that's where they make money. Kasi I just have to clarify it. Madami nagrereklamo bakit may ganung charges. People don't understand na pag nagre-remit ka border to border, mahal siya eh. Kaya nga sobrang uso ng cryptocurrencies ngayon because yung transmission of money border to border sobrang mura. Pero every time you transfer your cash from one country to another, mahal siya relatively.
May bayad.
So, yun.
Okay.
So may conversion fees siya and iba-ibang charges pa.
Yep, correct.
Yung platform itself also has some sort of charge to use.
No naman, they don't have like any brokerage. They make money from other ways. Not since majority of them walang commission. There are other ways for them on where they actually make money as well. So one is yung sa exchanges, one yung sa credit card fee, and then meron di ko masyado maintindihan, it's a bit complicated yung order flow. That's how Robinhood makes money. Pero kunyari magte-trade ka, alam ko na how they can, I forgot to say this, alam ko na how they make money. Two other ways pa. Kung magle-leverage ka, tsaka mag-short ka. So that's extra ways for them to make money. Leverage meaning uutang ka sa kanila ng pera para mag-trade ka. Yun.
Okay.
Pwede rin pala yun, no? Parang itong Axie Infinity.
May pa-scholar.
Oo.
Ito, partner, puntahan natin yung next aspect nito. Saan ba naka-invest si Marvin Germo sa YouTube?
Okay. I gave a snippet of it nung nagkwentuhan tayo nung start. I like to invest in companies na dun yung future, and I like to invest in big brands. So when I say doon yung future, siguro one of my longest holdings and one of the ones that I've been holding for a long time is Facebook. And yung rationale ko before, matagal na to, parang pagkagising pa lang ng tao, pagka hawak nila ng phone nila, or pagkagising nila bago sila mag-toothbrush, check muna sila ng phone eh. So, you multiply that by 1 billion users and the ads that are attached to it. Facebook has been part and parcel of people's lives. And yung Facebook kasi ngayon, they're not just Facebook anymore. Sanga-sanga na yung technology na ginagawa nila. But to share more, I like, for example, Tesla. Tesla is electric vehicles, and I believe that in the next 20-30 years, mawawala yung mga gas na kotse. Or kung hindi man siya mawala, we're not going backward anymore, meaning by 2040 walang government, walang company magsasabi, ay, balik tayo sa gas kasi mas maganda yung mga bagay na nakakasira sa environment. That won't happen eh. From where we are right now, we're just moving forward into something that will be sustainable for the country, or for the world as a whole. Pero interesting doon, zeroing in on Tesla, and I keep telling this to a lot of people, Tesla is not just an electronic car. Tesla is an AI company. You will see this in the next few, I think less than 2 years. Driverless cars na Tesla, na since AI siya, you don't have to drive it anymore. Siya na mismo magdadrive para sa'yo. Tapos electric vehicle pa siya. So yun, yung mga things that kala natin nung bata tayo, napapanood lang natin sa mga movie, pero because of what's going on, it's becoming a reality. So another example, you're asking ano pa yung mga gusto ko, because I like artificial intelligence so much and I don't know who will actually win, one of my techniques is, sino yung mga chip manufacturers na para gumana yung AI, sila yung mga heavy into that space. So Nvidia, AMD, madami silang development towards that as well. So ganun. Ano pa ba? Ayun, fintech.
Hinihimay mo talaga. Hinihimay mo yung actual technology.
It's very it's very interesting, and I don't know kung napansin niyo to, iba yung discussion pag US markets versus sa Philippines. Sa Philippines, tignan natin, ano yung sales niya last year, o gaano ba kalaki yung kinikita niya. That's not how you analyze tech companies eh, kasi sure yan, pag tech company yan, first few years hindi yan kumikita. So when you're analyzing Philippine stocks, ba't ako mag-i-invest lagi ko sinasabi sa Oplan yun, ba't ako mag-i-invest sa company na hindi kumikita ng pera? Pero in tech companies, lugi yan first few years. Ganun yung Amazon eh, ganun yung Tesla, because they just keep pumping it back in the business. So yun, dami pa. PayPal, Square, super companies that are highly connected to fintech. Tapos if they integrate with Bitcoin, super powerful yan in the next few years. But yun, so yun, technology, then the big brands I mentioned, primarily because for people to beat Nike, someone must come up with a brand that's 100 times better than Nike para matalo siya. The same is for Starbucks, the same is for Procter & Gamble, the same for Johnson & Johnson, etc. Ganun din for McDonald's.
Sabi, gaano kalaki yung portfolio mo sa global?
Ng pandemya, ano tingin mo sa pharmaceuticals?
Yung mga companies like Moderna that were into vaccines, nag-shoot up sila yun. Pero it's not something that I'm holding onto ng matagal. I think I had Moderna for some time last year, pero ngayon I don't have it anymore. Pero if you're asking long-term holdings na connected sa pharmaceuticals, I think I have J&J, because madami siyang products also that I think will be well beyond COVID also.
Okay.
So
Kasi trendy lang ang pharmaceuticals, especially those involved in the vaccines for now.
Tsaka I'm sure they're very good companies. Hindi ko lang talaga siya forte. I know less about it. I know more about the companies that I like. Meron pa akong dinasabi na isa sa paborito ko eh, Apple. How can you beat how do you beat Apple? Na inuuto nila tayo na kailangan mo ng mas malaki na phone. Lahat tayo bilihan ng malaki phone. Kailangan mo man ng mas malaki pa, bili tayo ng tapos kailangan mo ng mas maliit na phone. Susunod tayo lahat eh. And So,
Budol. Okay.
and we all know Apple's over, mas mahal yung Apple compared sa mga Korean and Chinese phones, but we still buy it. How do you beat that? Yun. So big brands and tech.
Big
Kasi
brand.
I know it. I don't know pharma, so I as much as possible, kung hindi ko masyado alam, kahit may opportunity, I don't deploy a lot of capital in it. Parang ganun.
And ang galing kasi that's the same principle you would use on local stocks. It has to be companies na you're familiar with and that you actually follow, diba? Although, yun nga, to your point, more on the financial statements and outlooks yung tinitignan dito versus the potential that it has. I mean, of course, the potential is there, pero yung sa kabila iba.
It's exciting eh. Parang exciting siya na you're investing in something that parang will paint the next few years. So interesting lang. Meron pa akong hindi nasabi. I think this will be a big thing, and isa pa lang naman yung alam ko na doon din talaga ako nag-invest, beyond meat. I think plant-based protein will be a very, very big thing in the future. So meron siya sa SNR. Sinubukan ko. Ang mahal niya, super mahal niya. So imagine the margins that they have in it. So yun lang.
Ang galing na that these are all listed. I mean, napaka-limited din kasi ng listed companies dito sa Pilipinas versus literally all the brands you've named are listed in the US.
At mas malalim ang market nila, di ba?
Thousands of stocks eh. So tapos sa Philippines we have 270, and then I saw a tweet ata that out of the 270, 90 lang talaga yung actively traded doon. So you have a 1/3 to actually choose from, which is okay naman kasi kahit ako sa Philippines I only watch 50 plus or even less than 50 plus stocks also. So which is fine.
So ayun, ang stock picks ni Marvin ay tech and big brands. Any sector in the global stocks market that you feel dapat din bantayan in the next couple of
hindi naman para sa akin lahat yan may opportunity, pero you always invest on what your competence already is eh. Na for example, I know a lot of people who are investing in Lockheed kasi alam nila mga military contracts na meron sila. So it will always go down, ano yung edge mo, ano yung alam mo compared sa normal na tao, doon ka maglagay ng pera. So parang gano'n. So another example, I wouldn't invest in airline stocks, pero for someone na exposed sa airline industry na alam niya na it's about to rebound, probably they'll still invest there. Or for example, kahit ako, I won't invest in oil stocks, pero for someone who has a lot of info na this will last pa for 20 years more na di talaga ito mapapalitan, they'll invest more. So you always invest based on the information that you have, that you know, na alam mo, yun yung edge mo compared sa madaming tao. So regardless of what sector it is, there will always be opportunities on how you can make money sa market. Kaya kahit sa states, cannabis nga, people are making money from cannabis related na securities also eh. So yun.
Napaka-diverse, grabe.
Oo nga, oo. Ito Marvin, for someone na yung mga baguhan na papasok sa mundo ng global or US stocks, what do we watch out for? Ano yung mga pitfalls siguro, or yung mga dangers or challenges attached to it na dapat namin pag-ingatan?
It's the same sa Philippines, no? People lose money pag nakikisabay sila sa ibang tao. For example, early this year it was GameStop, it was AMC, and people bought it because nakita nila kaibigan nila kumita, or kasi pinag-uusapan sa social media. It's always the same. The stock may change, pero the principles to be successful would never change. It will always be about conviction. Kasi kung tama naman, binili mo yung GameStop pero you had the right conviction and then you knew why you were actually buying it, I think okay lang eh. But you lose money when you flip-flop na umakyat siya tapos nabili mo sa taas pero binili mo siya sa taas dahil nakwento lang sa'yo. The moment it goes down, ikaw yung una magpapanik eh. So this is what I'll say. Kahit anong sinabi ko dito, if it does not make sense to you, then don't go for it. Kahit gano'n ka shiny yung wow, sobrang ganda ng US stock market, but you think it's something that does not work for you as an investor, then don't invest in it. Only invest in something that you know, only invest in something that you can tolerate, only invest in something that you can understand when times are bad. Kasi everyone wants to invest when times are good. They don't know that the money is when times are bad. You always position when things are not good. Pero when things are not good, dun pumapasok na talagang pinag-aralan mo.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And I think yung basic faith mo rin in the stock or in the company comes into play pag talagang coming off from a really low base ka, especially during a crisis like this one. We're actually in crisis mode.
And for example, I'll say this. Majority, we talked about it sa start na all-time high yung US stock. So kunyari, you bought Starbucks now, you bought Disney now, babagsak yan eh. Normal naman na mag-correct yun eh. Pero how deep is your understanding that in the midst of it going down, ano ginagawa mo? Are you panic selling, or are you holding on to it, or are you buying some more? So it's that deep understanding that will allow you to survive yung mga drops sa market.
Eto, I would ask now, would you recommend this for beginners given the opportunities that have opened because of the pandemic or because of innovation simply, 'di ba? In this kind of global stock market play? Is it something na a first-time investor should go into?
Alam niyo naman yung sagot ko dyan eh. Sasabihin ko, for $50, mas maganda pa yung magiging kinabukasan nun kesa bilin mo yun sa kahit anong pinambudol mo sa 7/7 sale na 5 years from now wala nang value. Totoo, bumili ka na. Totoo. Alam mo yun, totoo that you buy a stock and totoo you might lose half of its value. So $50 naging $25. Meron ka pa rin $25, pero yung binili mo nung 7/7 sale, sure ako noon 10 years from now wala nang value yun. Buying an asset is still massively a better storer of value than buying something that will depreciate years from now. So if you're asking me what's the alternative? Spend the money and then lose value. I'd rather invest it. And as long as bukod sa naintindihan nila, what's very very important is they put an amount of money that hindi kasisira ng buhay nila kung nawala yun. Meaning their life will still continue. They will still be able to eat normally. They will still be able to function. They will still be able to pay off whatever they need to pay off. As long as it's an excess, okay lang siya.
Ang ano ko lang, sige, siguro ang last question ko lang, ano yung maibibilin mo o maipapayo mo dun sa mga gustong pasukin to like myself?
I'll add this sa answer kanina. Just start kasi maglagay ka ng 2,500 pesos kung mawala kung worst case scenario mawala lahat yun, it really won't change your life naman eh. Especially kung may trabaho ka, nakatira ka sa magulang mo, or may trabaho ka tapos yung ini-invest mo sobrang pera naman talaga yun. I think it should be fine eh. At least if you lose the money, then you either two things will happen. You will stop investing and find another investment na nag-work talaga sa'yo, or it will be a motivation for you na saan ako nagkamali? What can I do to become better at this? What can I do to actually learn and properly invest so that hindi mangyari sa akin to ulit. So start with a small amount of money. Start with money that you don't plan to touch for the long term. And then if you make money, wag niyo tanggalin. Pasok niyo lang. Just keep on holding on to it and keep on adding and keep on reinvesting it. Tanggalin niyo na lang pag 30 years after, 20 years after, o pag kailangan niyo na talaga yung pera. Kasi I think what's nice about it also, pag people need to realize this. Pero medyo tumaas na nga yung dollar eh. Pero the lower the dollar is, mas pabor sa'yo na may peso ka tapos bumibili ka ng dollar, di ba? Kasi mas madami kang nabibili also eh. That will be a different case later on pag mataas yung dollar, meaning mahal na yung peso mo, yung 50,000 pesos mo, that dati will give you $1,000. Ngayon, 50,000 pesos mo will give you more than $1,000. So, mas madami kang bala. So, take advantage of this time also that the peso is stronger than the dollar. So, you can actually maximize your money also more. So, yun.
Ayun. Where can
Alright.
they reach you, Marvin? Ako, I'm sure you have a lot of these. Itong mga kinwento mo sa amin, marami ka ng videos on this. Sa totoo lang. Where can they reach you?
Marvin Germo, Google lang Marvin Germo, tapos whatever comes out. But yeah, videos are in YouTube, and I'm trying to figure out TikTok, pero it's so I don't understand how to be good at TikTok, but yeah, meron din tayo doon.
What? Thank you. Thank you so much, Marvin. And yun nga, follow niyo rin si Marvin TikTok para lalo siyang ma-motivate na maging TikTok creator. Pero we'll also put Marvin's YouTube channel, FB, blog, lahat na. He's on all channels actually. And naku, sumasagot yan. I think sumasagot talaga yan pag message ninyo at magtanong kayo. Do you have a seminar coming up or what's in that?
Oo nga. Ang dami na kami sa seminars mo.
We have one next week. I'll just go to my YouTube channel, tapos nasa description naman doon. It will be all online via Zoom. So they can check it out there. So it will be 2 weekends this July.
Wow. Details on Marvin Germo's Facebook. Maraming salamat, Marvin Idol, for joining us. Thank you.
Thank you as always.
Maraming salamat, Marvin, for joining us. Grabe, partner. Gusto ko na magsimula.
Ako nga rin, as always, napaka-insightful ni Marvin. At saka ang gusto ko talaga sa pagsasalita ni Marvin, step by step. Alam mo kung saan ka pupunta. So, hindi mahirap sundan. So, ako, personally, yun nga, I'm really interested dito sa topic na ito. Kasi syempre, ako naghahanap ako ng ibang avenues to earn or to invest para mas mapalago yung pera ko. So, this is one avenue na tingnan natin. Sana swertehin ako dito.
And yun nga nakaka-inspire siya, nakaka-empower siya to really go into it right now. Kasi grabe yung access ngayon na pwede na, di ba? Kasi yung fractional shares pa lang, yung pwede kang mag-invest in 0.000 something of a huge company, valued at what, di ba? Already priced at $3,000 plus US dollars. Magkano yun? Mapapaubo ka na lang kung pesos yun. But you can actually come into it na literally with $1, $50, diba? Or even more than that if you have it. Ang galing yung sinabi ni Marvin, take advantage of that and take advantage of the fact na dahil nga ngayon, crisis mode ang mundo. Strong ang peso, stronger, compared to what it was pre-pandemic. Mas mura kang makakuha at makakapasok sa ganitong klaseng trading. And ako, the second part that I really enjoyed about this discussion is that the same principles apply to any investment. Huwag kang maglalagay ng perang, di ba, ikasisira ng buhay mo. Sabi nga ni Marvin, kailangan may excess ka before you come into this kasi napaka-volatile ng market. Volatile meaning pwede siyang bumagsak the next day, the next second, di ba? And pwede rin namang sobrang umarangkada. So, whenever you're gonna come into this, dapat yung kaya mong mawala, di ba? Yung kayang, bukas, pag nawalan ako ng 5,000 pesos, 2,000 pesos, 1,000 pesos, okay lang ako. And apparently, if you can come in with $1, magkano lang yon? 50 pesos at most, di ba? If you can come out, and if you can part with that, yung pwede siya mahiwalay sa katawan mo na parang hindi sumama yung kaluluwa mo, ayun, then that is a good benchmark for investment. And whether it's global stocks, local stocks, or any other investment na pinag-uusapan natin dito sa Kaasenso, you have to first have your emergency fund, and then everything after that, yun, pwede mo nang ilaro sa investments.
At saka ito yung pinaka-insightful dun sa mga narinig ko na sinabi ni Marvin. Kasi di ba, stocks, napaka-complicated pakinggan. Pero, kumbaga sa sinasabi ni Marvin, choose your battles. Doon ka sa mas alam mo, doon ka sa kilala mo. So kung hindi mo kilala tong isang company na to, or hindi mo kilala tong industry na ito, edi wag ka dyan. Doon ka sa mas alam mo, doon ka sa alam mong may advantage ka. At kumbaga sa mali-leverage mo yung alam mo, doon tungkol doon sa isang particular company para eventually kumita ka, di ba? So, hindi siya kailangan komplikado na lagi ka nag-a-analyze ng ng hard data, ng earning statements at kung ano pang technicalities. Doon tayo sa basics, kung sino ang kilala mo at kung anong alam mo, doon ka, di ba?
Yes. Okay. And of course, we'll put all the links down below sa mga channels ni Marvin. Ayan, nilalagay natin yan as well as some of the brokerages, online brokerages platforms that he mentioned. Para kung gusto niyo na magsimula, katulad namin, obviously magsisimula na talaga na kami on Global Stocks and after this particular episode. Ayan, links down below. And of course, sa pages ni Marvin, you'll be able to see kung meron siyang mga seminar. Napaka-generous po ng tao nito sa knowledge.
That's right.
And we're so blessed na nag-share siya ng ganitong mga mahal kung ikukunin niyo po siyang speaker, mahal siya. But if you're able to, take advantage of the knowledge na he just blesses us with and he's so generous about, ang galing talaga. It's so impactful yung mga kinukwento niya at yung mga how-tos niya. Tignan niyo, it's all in his channel, it's all in his platforms, and once in a while, he comes out with really great seminars. Take advantage of that. Take advantage of that. Tulad namin, tinitake advantage namin na nag-guest sa Kaasenso. So yan, put it down below. And if you like the episode, share, subscribe, and tune in every Saturday. Lagi kaming may fresh drop for And Kaasenso Gerard, congrats for the monetization ng ating channel.
Congrats sa atin, partner. Oo.
Salamat mga Kaasenso.
We've reached that point. Of course, salamat sa ating mga Kaasenso. And mga Kaasenso, kung meron kayong mga katanungan, meron kayong gustong ipadiscuss sa amin, we hear you, we read your messages. So, i-follow nyo rin po kami sa Facebook, www.facebook.com at hanapin nyo po ang Kaasenso with Gerard and Mitch. Sasagot po kami dyan at babasahin po namin yung inyong mga mensahe. So, mga Kaasenso, see you next week po. Muli po, ako po si Gerard de la Peña.
Ako po si Michelle Orosa-Ople. God bless mga Kaasenso.